Okay. I think I am not muted. I am redoing this first part. Initially, I thought that's not cool. It's cooler to ask, like, I don't care, which I don't really, but I just thought, if someone did care, I mean, I'm gonna spend a long time doing these. In the event someone cared enough to go back to the first one, would I want that person to feel like I thought I was too cool for them? So I thought I would re-record this. This is supposed to be a recap of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is the first of a multi-part remake of the game Final Fantasy VII, which was released in 1997 on the PS1. This is the second part of that series of remakes. It is not the last one, it is the most recent one. It's an insane thing to do, to remake a game this, like, zoomed in. Kind of Hobbit style, I guess. But I actually think it's pretty cool, because you get a lot of detail.
The fall of the Sector 7 plate, culminating in this unprecedented destruction, caused by a massive tornado which swept
There's dumb parts too.
1 and 2. After a briefing with Shinra investigators, Mayor Domino released a statement declaring the tornado to be weather warfare perpetrated by the infamous insurgent group known as Avalanche.
That is not true.
The administration also suspects the involvement of Wutai, and has begun
That is also not true.
into the matter.
We're watching propaganda right now, perpetrated by the Shinra Electric Power Company, who is the main villain of this game. They own this city, this society, and it's their fault that this happened. But they are covering it up by blaming our heroes, which are the quote-unquote terrorist group Avalanche that is rebelling against them, as well as Wutai, which is a country they are not at war with, but that they were at one point and they didn't exactly win and no one quite got over it. It's almost maybe a Cold War type situation. Wutai is sort of the last country in the world that has not succumbed to Shinra's economic dominance. And so anytime there's a chance to have an enemy, Wutai is that enemy. This green stuff is Mako. It is a magic thing that's in the earth that's like souls or something, and the Shinra Electric Power Company harvests it in order to create electricity. This is not an inexhaustible resource, and thus their world is very like this, with not a lot of plant life. This is Zack and Cloud. Cloud is our hero. Zack is some guy who just kind of showed up. He's in a PSP game called Crisis Core that I haven't played. A lot of people haven't played. They remade it recently too. You're not supposed to have to play it to get this, but I'm told it helps. The story still works anyway, but it's also insane anyway. That woman is like an alt-right fake news spreader. I wanted to kill her at the end of the last game, but then her grandma shows up and is like, don't worry, I'll take care of her. And I'm like, I don't think a scolding is gonna solve this. But, you know, she's cute, right? So the main characters can't fight her. She has to appear in every game now because she's marketable.
Back over here.
If I have one really big problem with this game, it's doing things because they're marketable. Like this. These characters are not dead. We're about to play as them. It's like this whole segment just exists as fodder for trailers and like posts on social media of like, what's happening? They've ruined Final Fantasy VII. They're destroying the story. none of this is in the original. And it's like, don't worry, it's not even really in this one. Like, they're gonna forget that this ever happened for like the next 40 hours. But it's here right now. Anyway, that sounds like I'm being negative. Don't worry, I actually like the game. But I don't think I like what these parts add to it with Zack, which is all like just designed to create confusion. Bad choice, dude. That's his girlfriend. She got hurt. Zack's a soldier for Shinra, but I think he defected. I don't really know. They were shooting at him at the end of the last one. That's why he has dirt on his face. Now we're playing as him. You hear, like, just how all out they go on the music, just for, like, this short segment? I mean, sure, it's the beginning of the game or whatever, but, like... listen how many different sounds are used in this, and, like, how long the loop is. And, like, the dynamics... like, they just go way more all out than they need to. Like, I'm never gonna play as this character again. Mostly. Like, this is just for this one part. And yeah, I mostly just mash square until those guys are eliminated as Zack. But like, it's just impressive that the lengths they went to sell you on like every moment of it, I guess. You know, as a remake of a game that was very minimal, especially in terms of like...
Come on, let's get it.
Well, it had animation that was notable for the time, but mostly just like certain really big attacks. And they had some mini games, but like overall, the original Final Fantasy VII, a lot of the time it's up to your imagination, like what's actually happening or like what the tone of the scene is. And I just feel like in these games, that's Red 13, we like him. I just feel like in these remakes, they fill in that space with like better stuff than you would have imagined anyway, most of the time.
Just shut the hell up and search.
Not always though. Not always.
This is so messed up. All of it. But I'm back now, Aaron. I'm back.
See, I actually like that scene. I mean, this part's just a reference to Final Fantasy VII with the white ball, but it's a total trailer moment. And I don't know, this whole scene is like hypothetical because we're about to jump to a timeline, I guess, wherein Aerith is just fine. But like, I don't know, it's still an effective scene. Sometimes they're just too good at what they do sometimes. It's like you want to hate it in like a, you know, nerd way, but I just can't because I just love what they do,
There was.
like the people up top, for the most part, well, the original writers on the game, the original character designers on the game, like, I just feel like the heart is completely there.
Couldn't believe my luck.
Anyway, now Cloud, that blonde guy that got shoved into that girl with the hat earlier by Zack, is gonna narrate a story of when he was a young boy working for Shoulder. And he was not so edgy and used to try to talk to people. See how hard he's trying? He's not like this in the present. He's very, like, solemn. But this is before, I don't know,
But never been motion sick.
life as a soldier changed him.
You ready to do this?
Yeah, you bet.
Like, it seems silly to admit. Maybe, I don't know.
Hey,
I like watching these cutscenes in this game better than, like, any television or film. Because it's like,
I'd like to be briefed on the mission at some point.
it,
'Cause if it's another one of those gigs, you can let me
even
know.
just as something to watch. It's still
Find the
like
link first, and what do? Call a ceasefire with Utah.
video gamey, you know, in that old school way that like nothing is anymore.
Like you.
well, our mission is to serve.
Like, I love the style of the voice acting,
Gigs.
the style of the writing that's like so,
Job's
you
a
know,
job, I
it's
guess.
like self-referential, but
Where is it?
not in a not in an annoying way. If you care about,
That's where I grew up.
you know, what's going on.
Got some fiends in our 12.
And if you're watching this and you haven't seen anything else, it's going to take a while before you care about what's going on, because this is very much like you're supposed to have played the last one, and no one should play this game without playing Remake. But I'm recording this because I want footage for a review of this game. I want to review this game and not Remake because, number one, there's already a really good review of Remake by Tim Rogers, and we don't need any others. Number two, I think this game occupies a really interesting place in culture. Video game culture, anyway. As like an ongoing thing, like a middle part.
Wait in the truck.
It really feels like it's just designed to be fan service for people who are going to go the distance. And like, there is something nice about that. Like, you don't normally get to play as this guy at all in the original game. He kind of does his own thing. And like, it's actually a more effective way of showing you how strong he is, because like, they don't have to design challenge for him. He just kind of wins automatically, and you just suck. You being Cloud, by the way, the blonde man.
He was in a different league from the rest of us.
But like, of course they're gonna let you play as him. That's just how they do it in this. Like,
Yeah.
the creators of this game are so pro the player.
Something's wrong with the reactor, and the whole village is up in arms. Talk of strange new monsters on the mountain only made things worse. People were scared, desperate.
The villagers tried to take care of the monsters themselves, but it was no good. Ended up calling Shinra. So the company sent help. Best they had.
See, this is what the rest of the world looks like. It's not like futuristic city like we saw kind of at the beginning, even though it was all destroyed. So everywhere else kind of like depends on Shinra.
How does it feel? I have no home, so I wouldn't know.
Their power, their technology.
You still got parents, though.
This is directly from my PS5.
Named Genova. She died shortly after I was born. My father.
Whoa there. Genova? Like from the Shinra building?
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm getting that.
Thank you. Totally normal laugh, totally normal guy.
Let's go.
Anyway. Oh. Oh yeah, this guy.
I'm Xander, the mayor here. I wanted to
Oh, what rant was it? Was it about dog food?
Little town. If you'll follow me.
I want to make a review of this game. That's why I'm doing this, just to get footage. It won't be a rant. It will be a little off the cuff, though. Anyway, yeah, like, these guys are basically totally economically dependent on us. Like, we're so glad you're here. Thank you. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you. Just a bit more. Like, these guys love you. Even though they're, like, totally, basically subjugated by the Shinra Electric Power Company. Look at that fucking sunset. They can't help but just, you know, depend on Shinra.
So how did it feel being there?
Oh, yeah. Freaking YouTube.
I don't know. The storm.
Yeah, the graphics in this game are nuts. Like, absolutely nuts. It's like, you know, it's like realism, which, I don't know. It's like not cool anymore to talk about how realistic a game looks, but like, this game, it like looks better than real life. Like, if I can get close to Cloud right now, you see his hair? It moves, but like it doesn't move too much in like a Havoc engine way. It like reflects light amazingly, but if you look super close, it's like, it's kind of weird and grainy on the edges. It's like, and no one's hair ever looks like this. I mean, this is not a human's hair, you know? It's like, it's realistic lighting. Not even, it's like better. It's better than real life. Nothing in real life looks like this, like, intricately designed.
I figured you might be there.
It's like they have all the details, but it's not just in service of, like, I don't know, dry realism. It's like meant to convey something. Like, look at the old-timey, kind of ornate home with all these details. Like, this dang pot, I have that pot in my kitchen. But also, like, it's got all these pipes running through it that probably Shinra installed to show, like, the mix of the oldness of the town with, like, the modernity that Shinra has brought to it. Oh! Like, it's definitely, you know, one of those AAA games where, like, they threw a billion people in the furnace in order to make it. But, like, I don't know. It's the one of those games where I'm almost happy they did. Because they did it with such artistic intent. I mean, we're in Tifa's house, by the way. Tifa is our friend who is a girl from our childhood. And this is a total
Went through my stuff?
scene from the original that, well, they didn't do it the same way.
Cloud! You asshole!
Like, in the original game,
Play it?
I don't know. That was more in character for Cloud because he was written different. There were always like dialogue options where he was a scallywag. In this game, it's not really like that. And also in the original, you found orthopedic panties there. So I know we're like in the middle of this whole thing that's supposed to be all like cinematic and whatnot. But like... You can also, apropos of nothing, stop and just like play piano for a bit by flicking the sticks in different directions, and it's like a very intricately designed rhythm game. I did much better at that yesterday when I accidentally recorded this with no commentary. I am not going to stop and smell the roses this much the entire time I'm doing this, but I just kind of want to show that you can. Like,
Wow. Where'd you learn to do that? Hey, you gotta play for us sometime.
Well, shit. You're a merc of many talents.
she has a cute stuffed animal, but it's very upsetting to me that that pillow must be getting so dusty on the ground. Anyway, like, look, I'm in her room. It's like her room. It has her things. There's like all these photographs on the wall. I never even saw those before. Are those her photos? Did she take those? There's a moose. I've never seen that moose in any other house in this game. And like, just getting to look out at the town with like the light filtering and like the window filtering. Like, there's a dollhouse effect to this game where, like, if you love Final Fantasy VII, you like love these characters, you just like want to be in Tifa's room. Like, you can just hang out here and like look for so long at all this stuff. Like 2 rugs with like unique designs. And like, look at that lighting on the wallpaper. See how it lights up unevenly, like silk or something? All these books, the lighting on the desk lamp, it's nuts. The lighting on the metal thing that upholds that shelf, that's like kind of coppery or whatever, and see how it's uneven, like something like that would be if it was like handmade? Oh my gosh. Okay, here's another thing I noticed yesterday for the first time. Look at the ridge of Cloud's shoulder pad, like the bump mapping on that, where like you see part of it clearly looks raised based on how it reflects lighting. Like, that's crazy. Who would notice that? Like, they so didn't have to, but oh my gosh. It just creates this effect where it's like, not only is it so immersive, but it just feels like you can just like you can just look at stuff. That's like a way to play this game.
Sure it does. I know I want to hear what happened.
Me too.
And then Cloud, like,
Go on.
doesn't want to go to his house.
My dad died when I was a kid. So after I left for Midgard, she was on her own. It was the first time we'd seen each other in 2 years. First time. And last.
I'll be right there. Cloud, is that you?
Hey,
Welcome home. Come in. Let me get a good look at you. My. So that's what they've got you wearing, huh? You soldiers sure do clean up nice. I've never been so proud. The man you've become. Women must be hounding you day and night.
not really.
You know, there's all kinds of temptations in the big city. I'd feel a lot better if I knew you'd found a good girl. One who'd make sure you didn't get into trouble.
I can take care of myself.
An older, more mature girl that could keep you on the straight and narrow and tell you when you're being a silly goose. That's the perfect type for you, I'd say. They are feeding you properly, aren't they? Oh, Cloud. But you know, Cloud. Wouldn't you agree, Cloud? You're my son. Of course, I'll always be.
Okay, that's enough.
That, like, green stuff,
Two were neighbors?
it has, like,
It's not like we hung out.
kind of a literal significance of, like, indicating Cloud is, like, Mako poisoned from being, like, made into a soldier, which is, like, a biological process.
We're so sophisticated. I can only imagine what their lives must be like.
I was like this girl. I spent a lot of time with her before. Again, the dollhouse effect. You can just be here. You can just be here and look at stuff. If you want that, you just, like, sit down with that guy for a while. Just, like, trip out. And I'm not even talking about drugs. I'm just talking about, like, enjoying yourself. There's enough here to entertain a sober mind without engaging in gameplay. Anyway,
Teacher of martial arts.
that green stuff represents, like, that Mako poisoning from being a soldier, but then other times it seems to represent, like, PTSD, which I think Cloud definitely has. And in that scene, I think it does, because it's like, oh yeah, he spent time with his mom when he was in town, but he doesn't want to get into it. And maybe he can only recall those blips that we saw in between the fuzz. I'm not talking about this guy because I don't really care about him.
128.
This is part of taking every little bit of the original and making it, like, 5 times as long. It's like, this is a guy who's here because he's here in the original. He's just like some NPC, basically. He's Tifa's master in martial arts. But he's got to get a whole cutscene, because everyone does in this game.
Yeah, right? For yourself?
I don't know why Cloud recounted that part in the present day, but whatever.
Didn't really notice at the time, but looking back, other signs were there. And the moment we arrived, Sephiroth just wasn't himself. You know what you're looking at?
This landscape.
Huh?
I could swear I've seen it before.
You okay?
Big day tomorrow. We'll be leaving bright and early. You should get some rest.
All right, will do.
Night.
I tried, but I couldn't get to sleep that night. I was too excited, too nervous.
It was pretty much the same for me. Why?
Yeah, I was surprised too.
We leave once our guy arrives.
Yes, sir.
Brian! Sephiroth, sir. I must insist in my team. My daughter isn't...
Dad!
Cowboy Tifa.
You don't have to do this.
I'm going, and that's that. There'll be 2 soldiers with me. I'll be fine.
Pumpkin.
She looked ridiculous in the original game,
I'll be your guide.
and she looks just as ridiculous now.
You're our guide?
I sure am. You can ask anyone around here. I'm the best there is.
You could get hurt.
Not if you remember to do your job, she won't. Come on.
Posterity, sir?
Not today.
You talk to
He doesn't show up in photographs.
Please, Sephiroth. It means lots
It's
to
very
us.
embarrassing.
It's just one photo. Come on. Where's the harm in that?
That's not a fact, that was a joke. Attempt.
There? Thanks.
Say cheese! Sounds like you were having a good time. One more.
Yeah, I guess we were. For a while.
The reactor was halfway up Mount Eagle. I was looking forward to breathing that crisp, clean mountain air again.
If you live in a city, and you go somewhere with, like, non-polluted air, oh my gosh, it, like, tastes good on your nostrils. It's crazy. Like, it's not even a smell thing. It, like, feels good.
First of its kind. It really put Mount Eagle on the map.
I've seen a few reactors in my time, but none with such a breathtaking view. Who could power it?
Everyone, eventually.
Man, I wish I could go
Yeah.
on trips all over the world.
You
like
live in a
guys.
place like this, you eventually take it for granted.
I think you mean business trips.
So this Mount Eagle,
Learn stuff on them.
it's
That's
kind of
so
supposed to
cool.
represent, like, the border between life and death in the sort of mythos of the game. I think they do a cool job of conveying that with, like, the dark claw-like protrusions sticking up in the stark white air. And then, of course, Shinra has, you know, defiled this place with their technology. They're sapping it of all of its you know, spiritual
Too fast for you,
greatness.
Of course not. We're just trying to pace ourselves is all.
I thought you guys were in a hurry.
Even so, you'll burn yourself out running like that.
This is when they teach you about the run button,
Not with all the training I've had.
but I'm actually keeping up with her without using it,
The best there is.
even though she's clearly trying her hardest to run very fast. Maybe she'll speed up if I do. No! I changed to match her speed. Okay. These things are like... You normally get this later. Maybe I should talk about it later. But it's like, if you haven't made something yet, like this, you can do that. Now I've made it. I got crafting experience, which unlocks more of these things. The only purpose for these things is to make them, and so then you can unlock new things. You never like make them again. It's just like a... Sometimes you get a piece of equipment that's good, but that's definitely a rarity. Most of the time, it's just like to give you a very minor reward for just like walking around, because
Seen those near the village?
everything has to get gamified in this game.
What do you think?
Everything has to level up or be perfected in some way. Okay, now we're gonna fight as the actual character of the game. But these guys are nothing, so I'm still just mashing X. You can pause, though, and do a special attack. Even though it's mostly... Well, it's not mostly an action game. It has been up to this point, because I haven't been using that.
This is how it's going.
But that's like the way you actually get anything done.
I guess not.
And the way you earn the ability to do that is by doing the normal attacks where you just mash square. I really don't need to be rushing to explain any of this stuff if I'm gonna do this whole dang game. Like, there will be time. I don't have to explain any of this. But I don't know. I don't want to do it later. If my one friend who said he wanted me to upload more stuff is watching this, consider these tutorial parts for you so that you understand what's happening when we get in a fight or something.
Is that Mako?
He's talking about that. It is.
Come on, soldier. You can do better than that, can't you?
She does a lot of that once you start playing as her, kicking birds. That's like why you want her on your party, because the way Cloud fights birds is he dodges and then he throws lasers at them from his sword. And the lasers do very little.
Let's finish this.
And then you hit him enough to stagger him. This sucks because he's like in a bad spot. But the idea is hit this guy until he's staggered.
Piece of cake.
When he's staggered, he takes 160% damage from attacks. And then switch to Punisher mode, where your attacks are slower and do more damage. And, you know, not ranged. And then annihilate him.
You're done.
That was triple slash, by the way. It does more damage if I hit more targets with it. So it's specifically to take out like a bunch of weak guys. See, like, this scene is completely unnecessary. Like, they could just give us a battle. And they could put those lines as voiceover on it, as they often do. But, like, they just like to make it feel like it's all one thing. Like, it very much borrows, in my opinion anyway, from a game like Sin and Punishment, where it's sort of arcade style, where you're going between cutscene and battle pretty, like, straight from one to the other without, like, in between. Except it also has the in between RPG-y parts
How about I go on ahead and
where you're walking around and talking to people.
I'll be careful.
But, like, yeah, if they can introduce
See you
a
at the reactor.
totally normal battle with a cutscene, like, they will. And, I don't know, it just gives it the effect that, like, I don't know, you're doing something a little more than playing, like, any old game. It's, you know, like a lot of things in this game, it's unnecessary, but it just really smooths out the experience. Also, I'm not playing carefully at all.
That one felt pretty good.
Let's play Curse, I guess. I don't know. Last time, I was not this bad. Not nearly. I also avoided this battle last time. Let's see if I can do it. No? Yes? That red circle fills up, like, the more you're around them. And if it fills all the way, then you have to... They don't even... We will go here. We have to get it wrong first. That's interesting. They want you to learn that you can get it wrong, I guess. Yeah, you have to go through that, though.
It's a dead end.
Also,
Got the bridge a while ago.
I want these things they put up here for me. But if you're not going the way they want you to, sometimes they make you go really slow, and it sucks. And right now I'm going the way they want me to, and they're making me go really slow because I think they're loading something. I'm gonna let Tifa move forward just so I'm not phasing into her. That can't be comfortable. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a loading screen, though I for the longest time thought it was just a pacing thing. There's sort of something to that, like the idea that giving you a long time where if you're paying full attention, as, I don't know, you should be playing a game this high production, like, giving you that time where you can't really focus on anything except, like, it's a pretty tight space my character is moving through. Like, maybe making you feel that tightness a little bit, like kind of putting you in their body a little more. It kind of sets you up to walk into a zone like this and really like feel how the space is different. Like, I don't know, can you sense the air is different in here than it was out there? You know? If I wasn't talking, would you feel that? That is not the way we're supposed to go. We're only supposed to go ways that are functional. It's like, this is just some guy. This is just some enemy. Like, this is a normal guy that appears. I was holding the wrong button to block. That's on me. But yeah, you can counter if you're in Punisher mode and blocking. Anyway, this guy is done. This one just does a lot of damage.
Piece of cake.
Like, see, that was just a normal guy. That was not like a boss or anything. But they gave him his whole scene where I looked at a scary shadow of him. just to make it feel, you know, like you're I don't know, like it's more than what it is. I mean that, and you know, I don't know. The game has its own marketing built into it. You know, so I can totally get someone who thinks that sucks and would rather play like Dwarf Fortress or Minecraft or like Wizardry Proving Ground of the Mad Overlord. You know, something that's much more utilitarian, where it's like, if you do manage to feel anything during this, it's definitely due to like what's going on in your brain and like the game design. But I don't know, you spend a certain amount of time playing games and you get very desensitized to game design. Like, I want to be told that I'm doing something more, because otherwise I just feel like I'm wasting time. And like, micro story moments will do that, like a shadow of an enemy. Also, that last part where you're moving that thing around, that is not that fun to do. My only guess is they want you to be like, wouldn't that suck if that was your job? Oh yeah, look at this. Like, again, the life and death, like kind of natural brutality thing, mixed with like the industry. Like, number one, it's super cool. Like, I just love like industrial places in real life anyway, just for how they look. But also like, it's so thematically resonant. It's so cool. Shinra's reactor surpassing the highest peak of the natural landscape. You know, because they want to... they want to dethrone God.
Then let me go first.
Hey, I'm the guide here.
Now, I just played this yesterday, so I unfortunately know something very bad is going to happen, and I feel really bad for that guy right there in the back. I'm gonna just pay my last, just say goodbye. Hey, dude, it's been real. He won't even look at me. All right, suit yourself. That attitude is gonna be your last body language word.
Tifa, are you okay?
Not really.
What are you?
I bet in the way that I'm saying I'm desensitized to like game design games, like The Witness or whatever. Like, I bet people who watch TV are desensitized to moments like this. Where, like, you know, the kind of person where they're watching this and all they can think is like, they know that the main characters don't die here. But like, that guy's gone, and like that, I don't know. Like, even if you don't care about a guy because he's a copy-paste of another guy that's with you, which, I don't know, try to suspend your disbelief harder, but like, you know that's gonna have an impact on Cloud. And even if it's in a really straightforward way.
Do you know the way?
Yeah.
You still want to see everyone react to it, you know?
Following the river should get us back to the village.
We're not going to the village.
And the whole tone is different now. And then you're going to carry that tone into the next
Sorry,
section of,
I don't think I can.
you know, running straight forward and fighting a bunch of goons.
We certainly can't send you back alone. You'll be safer with us.
Okay.
I'll be joining you up front this time.
What?
For your performance review.
You kidding me?
Good luck.
And that's something that the original FF7 really didn't have. It really was a few really hard-hitting cutscenes separated by like long segments of you're just fighting dudes and who cares. Like just copy-paste battles with no ceremony to it. In this one, there's so much ceremony to everything, to all of it, that it just feels like, you know, it feels like you're playing out the story yourself the whole time. I love this song, by the way. They use this song a lot. Sometimes the vending machines have discounts. Also, joke's on you, hard mode. I'm not even using my MP. I don't even care that it doesn't restore at this. I don't even care. Anyway, I think I am gonna call it there. Tone matters, you know? The in-between moments matter. I feel like people who like the original FF7 and don't like this game are probably the kind of people who say they play games just for the story and therefore don't care if there's like a long stretch of time that is like basically just wasted time advancing.
Off you go.
Like, you know, doing what would have been an auto battle if they had auto battle features in Final Fantasy VII. Because they did have that in some games back then, but not that one. I just wanted to keep talking, so I kept playing. But, like, you know, we shouldn't have to put up with that in the modern day.
More Mako gas ahead.
There's no way around it either. Just have to go through.
Alright, I am actually going to call it. I got other stuff to do, and it's getting late. I want to annoy my neighbors or whatever. If you watched this, if you're out there, thanks. But also, you don't have to care about this. But thanks if you do.